I've got members of Kisii County Assembly, but we have a privilege to be with our Deputy Governor, His Excellency Dr. Robert Munda. I want to read a statement and then afterwards they'll be able to speak. Honorable Osoro's unbecoming behavior in Kisii is unwelcomed. For the first few months, the Kisii County have experienced a rather unusual spate of violent incidents, death and injuries to innocent people orchestrated by MP of South Mogrango, Honorable Sirpanus Osoro. Honorable Osoro uses his position as the majority whip in the National Assembly to undermine other elected leaders, harass members of the public, and cause mayhem everywhere he goes. He unleashed terror on people even where it's not necessary, and his childish behavior is now unbecoming and unwelcome. We have noticed incidents where Honorable Osoro has directly unleashed his goons on people and public institutions. Among the goons he uses are criminals wanted for murder charges but still walk freely because they enjoy an ultimate protection from him. 2 months ago, at Nyamarambe, in his constituency, goons hired by Honorable Osoro stormed Nduru Level 4 Hospital, a facility that serves thousands of people, harassed patients and medical staff, and destroyed property worthy and surmounted amount. Some medical personnel, Dr. Mtunga and Matiko, who were trapped inside the hospital, escaped death by a whisker when the police swung into action and prevented the goons from touching the hospital. Police literally averted what could have been an ugly incident that could have even led to death. The goons were arrested and taken into police custody, but surprisingly, all of them were bailed out by Honorable Osoro after issuing threats to the helpless police officers. 3 weeks ago, non-goons who enjoyed protection from him, Osoro and with whom he posts photographs and posts in social media platform, accosted a young man, a boda operator, and hacked him to death. His mistake was just wearing an orange t-shirt that had Governor Arati's picture. On Tuesday this week, Honorable Osoro and his goons, who were wielding crude weapons, including bows and arrows, stormed the funeral service of the late Mzee Ayema, the father of Boikanga Ward MCA, Honorable Paul Okombo. He arrived in a manner that showed he was coming for war, and with total disrespect to the old man and the over 4,000 mourners who were present, he tried to stop Governor Simba from addressing the mourners, and when this failed, his goons began hailing stones, and other projectiles, including arrows, at the mourners. In the mayhem that ensured people were injured, women suffered broken limbs, and vehicles belonging to mourners damaged. It was a bad incident and very disrespectful to the deceased, who was respected by members of the society. He then flew back to Nairobi on a chopper, only to be seen leading the Bunge Praise and Worship Choir at the National Prayer Breakfast, which is supposed to be a solemn event for repentance and forgiveness. He attacked people and left many with injuries, mark you, his own constituents. As if this was not enough, he took his uncouth behavior to police officers whose only mistake was to stop him from causing bloodbath at the funeral. He started sending intimidation texts to the area hospital, Mr. Samson Rakunga, calling him names and blaming him for interfering with his work. He threatened to have him transferred. Yes, these threats have borne fruits. and the dedicated public servant whose calling is utumishi kwa wote has been recalled to the police headquarters without any posting. Our question is, who is protecting Honorable Osoro? Why is he maruding Kisii County, which has an elected governor, senator, women representative, MPs and MCAs, and terrorizing everyone who doesn't conform his uncouth childish behavior? Why does the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Japhet Koome, listen to him and act on his instructions when he knows that violence and attacks of innocent people is unlawful? Why is the CS, Interior, and the coordination of the national government, Professor Kithure Kindiki, quiet on this? Kisii County people are hurting, and the silence of Professor Kindiki is raising eyebrows. Therefore, we as the leaders from Kisii County are demanding the immediate arrest of Honorable Osoro to be prosecuted for violence on people and protecting criminals who are in the wanting list of police. We are giving the government 24 hours to arrest this goon in the name of the government chief whip in the National Assembly and make him face the law. Failure to which we shall know that we are on our own and defend ourselves. If we will not have been arrested by the expire of our ultimatum, we shall present the petition to the President to have the IG Koome removed from office for abating and condoning acts of violence and crime. We also call upon the Independent Police Oversight Authority, IPOA, to defend the police officers from leaders who use their powers to intimidate and harass them. Police officers must be allowed to protect lives of wananchi and their property, and not to be used as puppets for those who seek abuse of power. To Mr. Osoro, we want to tell him power is transit. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Honorable Wycliffe Siecha, a member for Ichuni Ward, and also a double up as the chairperson implementation committee in the County Assembly of Kisii. I also want to affirm and register my disappointments and confirm that whatever that has been read here by my majority leader in the Assembly, my sentiments will not fall far apart. It was quite unfortunate of an elected leader of a caliber of the National Assembly Chief Whip to come and interrupt a peaceful procession that was being conducted in seeing of one of our heroes, the late Paul Ayema, who again doubles as the father to one of our colleagues in the Assembly, Honorable Paul Okombo. This incident is not only unfortunate but equally a sin, not only before men but equally before God, because even in the Bible we read the pronouncements that have been made by God that it's good to go to the house of mourning rather than going to the house of Mary, and that confirms that the last respect that is accorded to those of us who have gone before us is something that is of sanctity before Almighty God. I want to say, in harmony with the sentiments that have been registered and in harmony with the statement that will be registered by my colleagues, that we must condemn that in the strongest way possible, and we must put to task the Inspector General of Police. We must take to task also the CS Interior, and equally we must also bring this to the attention of the President, that those whom he has given power to help him deliver to the people of Kenya are the ones again using the same power to suppress and oppress those who are not in power. It is something that will not over well, even if you put yourself in the same shoes of my colleague, Honorable Paul Okombo, that you are having a service to lay your father to rest, and then someone walks in, preaching protocol, riding on a motorcycle through the main dais, and goes sitting down on the ground, ignoring the office he is holding as a national leader, and then goes on when other leaders are making their statements, giving their morning statements, and paying their last respect to the late, and then someone walks and just interrupts and makes a funeral that was underway, ending abruptly. We want to say that as a people, we are not happy, we will not be happy, and we cannot allow this to continue because a few people have decided to turn the businesses that we are transacting as a government into businesses of fights here and there just to derail us from focusing on how we can deliver to our people. To the right honorable, and to Honorable Osoro, because this is not the first instance he is doing this. He has done it before in the funeral of the late parent to the former deputy governor in Kisii, whereby when His Excellency Paul Simba was making a statement, he rose and went interrupted and just turned that funeral chaotic. And this is the second funeral he's doing the same. His pronouncements in funerals are only meant to incite people and not even to give messages of condolences to those who are mourning. Even just recently in the funeral of a parent to one of the honorable members, he made statements that equally have resulted into inciting the people of Karoka, and now we are having chaos right, left, center simply because of what he uttered. Finally, I want to say this to His Excellency, the President, to keep watch on those people he has given power and to ensure that they are using that power to serve people and not to oppress people. Thank you.
Kwa majina najulikana kama Manane Richmond Rayori, mwakilishi ya kata ya Bogeka. Langu mimi ningependa kumwambia Mheshimiwa Osoro ya kwamba tangu Kenya jinyakulie uhuru tumekuwa na viranja wengi wenye wako wanajulikana hata nyadhifa zao, lakini sasa hivi ambapo imefika mtu wetu mmoja amepewa nyadhifa ya kuwa kiranja wa walio wengi katika bunge letu la kitaifa, lakini anatumika mamlaka yake vibaya. Nasi kama jamii ya Wakisii hatutakubali kamwe. Vijana wetu wengi wameteseka kwa mikono yake. Uchochezi wake wacha wachane nao na heshimu viongozi ambao wamechaguliwa katika nyadhifa mbalimbali. Tukirudi upande mwingine, Mheshimiwa Osoro awache kucheza ndumi la kawili na maisha ya binadamu. Wacha asiwe mtu muadilina ambaye hataki mabadiliko katika kaunti yetu. Tulifanya uchaguzi tukamaliza. Sasa kuna viongozi ambao wamechaguliwa ambao wanahitaji wapewe heshima, waweze kufanya ushirikiano ili tuweze kupata maendeleo katika kaunti yetu ya Kisii. Mimi nataka pia kumpea onyo Mheshimiwa Osoro. Wale vijana wa bodaboda ambao ameweka kwa mfuko yake, anatembea nao, anachochea wachache ili hao vijana waende walete furuga katika kaunti yetu ya Kisii. Ikome mara moja. Naye katibu wetu wa wizara ya ulinzi wa ndani, tafadhali wacha kulala kazini, wacha kutembea kazini. Amuka. Kuna tatizo kule Kisii ambayo inachangiwa na mmoja wenu. Wakati wa siasa ulikwisha. Mheshimiwa Ruto ndio rais, analinda nchi yetu. Wewe Osoro ni nani? Unakuja kuchochea vijana. Sisi tumekuwa watulivu kwa muda mrefu. Tunampa waziri wa ulinzi masaa 24. Asipotupa ripoti kamili, basi hatuna budi ila tunajua sheria jinsi ya kufanya maneno yetu. Asante sana.
Governor Kisii County, who has joined these leaders, the MCAs and other leaders from the Kisii County Assembly, to also air my voice that on behalf of the Kisii people, we know we have had elections, we have leaders elected, including those of us who are here today. The Honorable Osoro, in his short time as the Chief Whip of the National Assembly, has had violent engagements. One, he drove the doctors in Nduru Health Facility, the hospital, in his constituency, where doctors and the workers in the hospital were beaten up by people he engaged himself. That's one. And that's less than 2 months ago. The next time, Osoro had a team that killed a young man, a border rider, in Kisii town, broad daylight. The third one is where Osoro is engaging mourners in a battle, carrying arrows, carrying swords, carrying rungus, stones, and that's in a funeral. He has not offered an explanation how mourners could be carrying arrows. Arrows are crude weapons that are not found where people are getting one of them buried. The question we have here is Osoro as a chief whip allowed by law to engage people in violent activities? Doctors were beaten up. The people were arrested. Osoro released them on his own bond. He had sworn in full view of the public that even if they are arrested, he will again have them released, which he did. The doctors, we have sent them back to the hospital, which was closed for over a month. The second one is the dead boy who has been buried. Then this one of the funeral. The challenge here is, Kithure Kindiki, you have your officers on the ground. You have a commander in the county, police commander. You have the OSPD, whom has been transferred by a word from Osoro. Let him be transferred because he didn't protect Osoro, so that either the governor and anyone else be injured in the battle. Osoro is misrepresenting the government if he's a chief whip of the National Assembly. I even don't remember the chief whip who served with me in the 10th Parliament when I was an MP. So how long would it take for Osoro to be forgotten that he was a chief whip? He has been there for a few months, and he's simply blowing a trumpet that is a chief whip. Being a chief whip, there are several others who live around in Kenya and who behaved well than what we are seeing from Osoro. Is actually giving us, as Kisii, a very bad image in the country. That instead of using your position to help, to give order, to assist people see an orderly leader, you come and sit down among the mourners, and that time you have already engaged people to throw arrows because you have to take cover. You are down there when arrows are flying up there. This must stop. I'm appealing it to my friend, His Excellency William Ruto, that this individual called Osoro is not the only one who will represent your interest in Kisii. All of us are there. We are politicians of a better measure than Osoro's. Don't be misrepresented by Osoro. Osoro is giving UDA a bad image. It cannot be the president's interest to have people in violent engagements, including in funerals. Either Osoro keeps to his job as chief whip, or you remove him so that he's able to come and engage us in Kisii without being a chief whip. I think Osoro has misunderstood the title and the position he has been given as chief whip. He believes a chief whip is to pit people around, pit them around, so that's when you are a whip. You are not whipping anybody. It's not by carrying a rungo or an arrow to beat. You are a whip to mobilize parliamentarians to go to the assembly and make them work on the agenda given by the government. But Osoro is misunderstanding. I think, I don't want to call him Magoon. He's a young man who is misbehaving with the power. The little power he has been given. It's not so much power. If you are a whip in the assembly, you have only the few MPs you are supposed to whip. To mobilize Osoro, whipping is not beating. It's mobilizing, sensitizing the MPs to be in the parliament. And do the agenda as directed by the government. Now, if you draw your power and take it to Kisii to exercise it, I'm appealing it to Kindiki and the Koome as the Inspector General. Please stop Osoro from what he's doing. We have given 24 hours. If nothing happens, we shall run on our own. And we are saying we shall run on our own. And Osoro, I'm inviting you to Kisii. Come again and repeat what you did. If you think you know much about violence, you are welcome, come again. Thank you very much. You want to stop there.